welcome viewers to your favorite program, Echoes of India. Your hosts, Vishal, Ramani.
And Ashok Subramaniam.
We have with us in our first interview segment two very important key members of the Indian community. For any community to grow, we need members like them who are staunch supporters, motivated workers, who begin an idea and then carry on with a great mission to accomplish all that needs to be done to make that idea a very successful one. And these two persons are Venkateswaran, K. Venkateswaran, who is a great community worker, and he has been with the Hindu Community and Cultural Center, the temple at Livermore, since the inception of the temple. He is a member of SAIFA, a founder member. He's also been a staunch supporter of all the Indian cultural activities in the Bay Area. He, by profession, is an engineer who is the founder of the VLSI Design Associates and its parent company, Integrated Circuits. Along with him, our second guest is Srinivasa Rao. He is also an engineer by profession. He's the Director of Engineering at Transcom Technology Systems in Milpitas. He's also a great community worker, and since 10 years he's been a staunch supporter of the Hindu Community and Cultural Center. Welcome to our guests. Tell us about yourselves and tell us about the temple. This is a great project you've had since the beginning, and I think Venkateswaran is the right person to talk about. Why was the temple project started?
Well, in the early 70s, as you know, the Indian community was pretty in the infant stages at that time. Some of the visionaries at that time decided, I think, for their children to grow in a chill atmosphere, they need a place of worship and a place they can call it for themselves. So they thought of having a temple that goes back to early mid-70s or so. And that's where they decided to have a temple, and then they put forward the ideas.
That's wonderful.
And in deciding to build a temple for the Hindu community, which you made a very right decision because the population has grown so much in the last 20 years. And why did you choose the place where it is now?
Well, I got to go back to a little history. I think there was two groups of people at the time who decided to have a temple. One group was in Concord, a couple of people by name Muthu Iyer and Chandaram Rakha, and they were Malti Prasad and Rajendra Prasad back in Palo Alto.
Right.
When they decided to have a temple, they said that they're going to have it anywhere in Bay Area which is conducive for where the temple, we could have the temple. We looked all over the place, from Pacifica to Livermore.
As I remember, you had a different place in mind, right? And then you had some problems getting the project started.
That's true. The first location we saw was in Pleasanton. It was right next to a lake, a 4-acre of land. And we went through, that was in the early mid-70s or so.
Right.
Then we almost got the land, but due to some local politics, and there was a local public outcry because of, if I may say so, it was during the time of Jim Jones and in the Bittigiana massacre time. And what was the reason? One of the reasons for it was turned down. And subsequently, when City of Livermore found out that we lost the land, they came out and said, if you find the land in our area, we'll help you out. That's how the Livermore came in.
But that wasn't a mistake, and it's a beautiful location.
It's a beautiful temple.
Very picturesque location. Beautiful.
Thank you.
It's been a
And I
very...
think it's accessible too. You know, people make an effort to go to an edifice like this and, place of worship where you enter the sanctum and show your children the culture of, your yesteryears from your homeland. It's just beautiful. We have the model right here. Tell me about the history of, the Livermore Temple, a little more in-depth history.
Venki is an expert and he has been to the temple right from beginning.
I see.
So I will request Venkateswaran to...
As I said, I think 1977 was the first community get-together that we should have a temple. Ever since we started looking for the land, and 79 or so we found Pleasanton. And as I previously said, we lost we couldn't get the building plan in 1981. And subsequently, once again, we regrouped, and about 8 of us stayed together for the project and then started looking for the land. And 83, we received the permit from the city of Livermore that we could go build the temple. So that's when we had the Bhumi Puja, November 13th of 83. That is the groundbreaking ceremony we had at the
Yes.
1983. And subsequently, we, on a project like this to get started, there was a lot of community support in getting we'd raise the funds through community support, but still to get the project moving, we need to take a loan to start. So we had a $500,000 loan from local State Bank of India and to get the projects rolling. And subsequently, Tirupati Temple in Venkateswaran Temple, they loaned us also some seed. They gave us the seed money to a tune of about $150,000 to help us start with the temple. And that's where the whole thing started. And subsequently, when we had the groundbreaking ceremony, we decided the temple's going to take about a few years to come up. So in the meanwhile, to show the community at large that Livermore is there, the temple's going to be Livermore, we started the interim temple on a house behind the temple land. In a small backyard, we built a gazebo style.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then we used to have a regular
Pujas.
worship and pujas at that place.
Right.
And the real construction for this temple started around 84, 85 time frame. We had the architecture for this was one of the very eminent architects, temple architects from India, Muttaya Stapadi. He has built almost all the temples within the North America right now, and also quite a few temples in India.
So the Pittsburgh and then the Malibu temple.
Malibu temple was built by him. The New York temple was built by him. Nashville, and you can go on and on. And each one of them has temples. His architecture is unique for the requirements of the community.
Right.
We used to exchange ideas, what it is, and then he goes according to what is known as the Shilpa Sastra, which is the ancient text which deals with the temple build architecture.
Yeah.
He sort of molded it to our requirements. Each of if you would see the temple here, if you see the architecture, all the gopurams are of different style.
I thought this was designed after the Kashi Vishwanath temple and this the Venkateswaran temple. More or less, but I'm sure the building codes may be slightly different here, being a quake-prone area.
All of them had to go through a very rigorous city requirements for the building. Livermore is a earthquake-prone country, so we had to go through that.
And the main tower itself is predominantly South Indian.
So it's the Dravidian style. Dravidian style. And as Vishal pointed out, this one is the Bhuvaneshwar style, which is the Shivat sanctum.
Okay, where do you get all these types of bricks? I know these are all made out of bricks, right? Big stones. Do you get any companies making these bricks here, or?
Later part of the thing we would go over in detail about the structural, how it is done. We'll go through that.
Why don't you quickly go through the milestones of this temple development?
Yes. So 83, as I said, 83 after groundbreaking. 84 we started the work. 86 we had the Kumbhabhishekam, that is the pouring of the holy water on top of and that was a very momentous event for all the Hindus. Over 3,000 to 4,000 Hindus gathered at that time, and it was an open air plaza type. And mainly because there was a lack of funds, which as we said, this temple has been built by the community. I mean, we didn't have large donors. It was donation by every Hindu in this area. So we had to slowly, the coffers grew, and then we decided that we would open the temple for worship before going to the next stage. So 86 was when we opened the temple for worship. And the next stage in the history of the temple is when we built the roof for the temple. That was in 92. And now we are embarking on the latest stage of building, beautifying the outside and all that.
So when do you think, realistically speaking, this entire project will be completed?
Well, there are maybe...
Yeah, we are hoping to finish the Shilpi work primarily by 10th anniversary of Kumbhabhishekam, which is 1996 July. So with the help of community and with all our support, all your support, I'm sure we can finish this. Right now the Shilpis are here, about 5 of them from India, and we have got a Shilpi committee which is supervising their work, and they are building the Rajagopuram, which is the main tower of the temple here, and they have started the beautification, putting pillars inside, and then they will next first finish the Rajgopuram, then they will work on the beautification of inside the sanctum, and then they will do the outside, and then everything we expect to finish by July 96.
Well, that's great. What are the services offered by the Hiliramo temple?
Primarily our activities are three types right now. One is, of course, the main thing is the religious activities. The religious activities are the primary backbone of the temple. And then we also have a lot of cultural activities, and virtually every major school in Bay Area has participated in our cultural activities and supported us. And the third one is also, which is probably not known to most of the people, is our human services. We do a lot of human services. For example, we collected the money when there was an earthquake in India, and we sent about $10,000 for Maharashtra earthquake in India. And then we supported some people sometime back when they were homeless and they needed some money to get into a house. We made the down payment for a house. And then we support a lot of groups around Bay Area. And also recently, for example, there is a senior citizens group from East Bay that contacted us, and very likely we're going to help them. You know, it's like a community work, you know, people contribute to the temple and we help the community organizations. And our major religious activities they're spread throughout the year. We have about virtually all major Hindu festivals covered in our temple. And we have about 5 priests available for service to the community. And these priests perform the functions right in the temple, as well as go to the residences of the devotees as per their wishes and perform the function.
Okay. How many devotees visit the temple on a weekly basis?
Weekly we have about 400 people coming to the temple. Primarily most of them visiting during the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Weekdays about 20% of the people show up. But most of the bulk of the people show up during the weekends.
Okay, and nice having you here. We want to continue this interview
Sure.
Probably sometime later to go over other issues.
Yes.
And Vishal, do you have anything to?
Yes, actually, you know, one final question I had was to find out about the youth, because we are going to be doing some very special segments about the youth, you know, in the community. And as you know, our Indian American children that are growing up here and have the background, of course, of cultural background from homes where there is worship done, or there is some grandmother or someone there to give them some kind of an idea and guide them along. But as far as the outside world, it's a totally different world. It's a world that is an enigma to most of us, you know. And for the children, it's a world that they feel they might fit in if they really adapted
part of,
themselves.
basically.
So what happens to them? I mean, how does the temple contribute? Do you think you have any say from the youth? Do you think that they come here more often than they would have to other places, you know, of interest? I mean, this is something where do they accept this kind of thing and readily come?
This temple is actually, honestly, built for our youth. You know, we all have children, and this is meant for them more than all of us, because we are here for a few more years, and then we may retire and do whatever we want. But this temple is meant for the children. So actually one of the primary goals of this temple is a legacy for future generation. So we want the future generations to take interest in this temple and come and participate in a big way. This is always in the back of our mind, whatever we do, how do we interest our children, how do we take them to our temple.
Correct.
And this is the biggest challenge for all of us. So I invite all the community to come and participate, to bring their children and come up with some ideas. And you know, we are open to all the ideas. It is the community's temple. It's all of our temple. And if the community comes forward, and we are very much looking forward to youth participation. And if they come in, and then we welcome them with open arms, and we want to have a youth committee and let all the children and youngsters come and participate in all our functions, and you know, grow spiritually as well as.
Thank you very, very much. And I think we have covered some of the main aspects, I mean, just generally speaking, in this segment. And definitely the future time will have you as well as other members from the community cultural center.
Yes.
And we'll have them speak about more things. In fact, we'll involve the youth and see what they'd like to say about the temple and its
That'll be
structure
great.
and it's just the services that are offered. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very nice having both of
Thank
you. Just keep talking. Yes.
Thanks.